conversation about, so we could talk about revision, we could talk about holding it all together, we could talk about remembering. And I'm also kind of, as modern people, anyone can answer this question, but is there ever this concern of getting it wrong or dishonoring or not doing it the way that truly says what you meant, or because as I'm a writer, I'm a poet, and so I can spend a lot of time on the page just trying to make it say the right thing. I can do a lot of research, and I can have somebody read it, and then I can fix it, and no one needs to ever see that But the hours that you guys put into
Courier. I'm originally from Richmond, Virginia. I moved away a little bit, maybe like 5-10 years ago. Recently moved back about 2 to 3 years ago. I was living in Brooklyn, New York, more specifically Brownsville, which is pretty cool. It's a little interesting. I was working over there, so it was a little interesting. But since coming back, I've been really trying to get back into the art scene and trying to experience those things. Because like when I was growing up here, I didn't feel like I had those type of opportunities. I was trying to get into doing those type of things. I felt like I didn't really have a future in doing art because I didn't have anybody there or somebody that I could look to do it or create and somehow make a living off of it. I still do it now, and like for more so interest while still working like a regular job and stuff, but like I do it now just so much out of just passion and just how much I love doing it. And also like say when I do it, like that's just another extension of it is painting live, and just when people get to see it and discuss it with me, it's a different experience than just kind of making it and keeping it or just like displaying it without letting them see the whole picture. But yeah, I appreciate everybody coming through. Appreciate Rudy for inviting me, and yeah.
So, roots and remembrance. So, everybody's heard the saying, history forgotten is a history that's going to repeat itself. And so, I think that remembering the beginning of all things, remembering the continent where a body of first man was found, bloodline, history, like everything started there in Africa. And so everything started there, but many things came from there as well. We're talking about countries, languages, cultures. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. The resources, everything. And so we got to know that and remember that. That's the ground roots where everything comes from, the life, the blood, and so remembering that, whether it started bad and then now it's up, it's progression. And so just remembering, ground roots and understanding where we can bring that to life. I wasn't there, but to be able to paint a picture, do a poem, do a song, a dance or whatever, and remembrance of that keeps it alive. That keeps it alive. And I think that's the job of an artist, is to keep things alive.
I feel like as artists, imposter syndrome is something that we always face. So like figuring out if what we're making is authentic not only to us but to the audience that we're trying to represent or market ourselves to is always something that goes through my mind. A lot of my work is all about like depicting the experiences of Black people, Black queer people, and that's not something you can just like pick one aspect on and just run with it. Like it's not our culture isn't a monolith. There's so many different aspects and subcultures within it that you can't cover every topic within one piece. So I often think about like what am I trying to accomplish with this piece? Who am I trying to speak to? Who am I trying to represent? And is that accurate to them? Will they see themselves in it, or will they be like, you kind of missed the mark here? So I think that's something that you always have to think about. And for me, what's helped is just making sure that it's true to my own experience, or if I'm trying to depict an experience that I think is important to depict, I don't have like, if it's something that I went through myself, then I would do research. I would ask somebody who has went through it. I'm like, hey, how do you feel about this piece? How do you feel about telling me your story so I can accurately represent you? So that's how I go about it. I think research, putting yourself in someone else's shoes, and then just pulling from your own authentic experiences is how you get over doing it wrong.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Travis Coleman. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. I currently live in Silver Spring, Maryland. I am a fairly new artist. I specifically focus on using acrylics and some other mediums as well. You notice my work is very vibrant. It's just the interpretation of what my mind has.
My name is David Rivas. I am here from Baltimore, Maryland. I am hiatus and decided to one of my new friends here, Shane. I just thought to, kick things off with some of my high school work.
Hey everyone, I'm Marcus Thomas from Tallahassee, Florida. I've been here for a couple of years now. I'm a self-taught, multidisciplinary artist. I'm currently specializing in digital art and stained glass design. I think I have a background in character design and animation, illustration.
A bit more like a generic question to get us started, but obviously the series is called Diaspora and Dialogue. Everybody knows that, but we're kicking off with Roots and Remembrance. So my question to you all is simply, what does Roots and Remembrance mean to you all, and how is it reflected to you?
And it's making me think of your piece, the Things They Carry piece that you were telling me about, and how you were saying that the main sort of character in the piece is trying to hold the now, consider the past, and also mark the future. I wonder if you could share a little bit about how that might tie into the Roots and Remembrance piece.
Yeah, so one of my pieces, The Things They Carry, it's an ode to Black men. And as I collected stories from a lot of the men in my lives, whether it's my homeboys, my father, my brothers, I'm hearing a pattern of the pressures that society can hold on Black men and the responsibility that a lot of men carry within themselves. They are not just carrying this path uncharted, but they're not just carrying their future generations, they're also carrying their inner child. So it is, in a way, this connection of carrying the decisions of the future while also meditating on the decisions of the past. So I wanted to highlight that although we have this roots of where you came from and remembering that path, that is a call on God, and you can always call on that divine energy and tap into that as you move through the world unknown. I also kind of wanted to touch on what you mentioned as far as the roots is our foundation. No matter where you are in life, we all share a very unique history, and that is what creates the culture that we live in, and I feel like that's just a very powerful thing that is not to be forgotten. And I think the world tries very hard to erase that past, to erase that history, and to not acknowledge where our roots are. In my culture, I'm Hebrew Israelite. In my culture, there are marked days on our calendar that are specific for remembrance. Remembrance when God delivered us from Egypt. Remembrance of God's presence. Remembrance of God's power. And in those moments, you do feel connected. I do feel more connected to my brothers, my sisters, more connected to the power that's within. So I do feel like I very much am honored to be a part of a show where that is uplifted. So thank you.
It's interesting because that kind of transcends mediums as well. Like, as a musician, I hear that a lot amongst other musicians. You got some who are like, no, I want to make music for the masses and appeal to them, but real artists want to make music for themselves and then invite others on the journey. So I love that. Yeah. And I think Travis, you wanted to speak to that?
I do. So I'm going to start with the stories are important. Anyone can take something from a story. If I experience trauma, if I share that story, somebody may be healed. Everybody may not see, may not be able to relate to that experience. So, how does that translate? It translates to my art because my art is a form of my feeling. It's a form of my thought. Typically, I don't have any idea about anything when I put a paintbrush or a spatula tool or canvas. And whatever I'm feeling in that moment, whatever happens is what happens, but I know that it's a connection to how I feel in that moment. And so then what happens is I kind of alleviate the feeling of having to impress and please others because I know I did it for myself. And I did it because I wanted to do it. It's for me. I'm not thinking about the commission, I'm thinking about what's therapeutic for me. And so then that translates into my art because I know that whatever's supposed to be taken from that piece will be taken from it. And everybody will see something that's different. And that's what's special about art. It's because everyone can have their own interpretation, and their own interpretation is valid. There was another part I was going to say, but I can't remember what it was. But hopefully it'll come back to me and can relate to something else.
I would love to add to that as well. I think you mentioned kind of how are these stories being created and when do they kind of come about? For me, it does come from internally. Like, I feel like I'm a very emotional person, I'm a very spiritual person, but when I am feeling something and I feel a block, whether it's within my own spirit, I meditate on it and I try to visualize what is going to empower me to move past this, or what is the feeling that is blocking and how can I now interpret that and put that onto a canvas. Each and every one of the paintings that I have here, there is a story behind that of something that I was trying to see through. So a lot of the stories do come from my own personal experience, and I think when you do share those stories, it helps. And sometimes some blocks are longer than others. Coming face to face with some of these stories that I experienced, that I'm listening to from Gathering from Men, that piece sat halfway done for about a year. And it took me to ask more questions and gather more kind of like the puzzle pieces of what I was really trying to say in my, in my heart before I finally one day said, I think I have the pieces, I think I'm ready to touch that piece again. And there are times during COVID, I did not pick up my brush for a very long time. And finally I said, you know what, there is something that I need to get out, and that's how these pieces are created. Even now, to be quite honest, and I'm just gonna be vulnerable right now, what is going on in the world is a lot for me to try to digest. I'm not picking up my brush until I know exactly what I'm trying to say and I know exactly what I'm trying to feel. And it might go to that perfectionism, but really it is a whole process. The paintings begin in my mind. The paintings begin through my meditation. So I hope that when you all see all of the artists, you try to understand what was that feeling inside and what were they trying to communicate, but also what does the piece mean to you. So yeah, that's a little bit of our process, I would say, or my process.
A journey of, deconstructing all of that and finally being able to say, this is what I want to do for me. Like, I used to get requests all the time, David, can you do this for me? Draw me this, draw me that, can you do this for me? Like, all these commissions. And I reached a point, there was a project I was doing at the time for the pastor.
We only have a few more questions, but it'd be great to have you guys over here. Have a seat, enjoy yourself. Did you have something, Bert?
Yeah, I do. I was going to talk. What was the question again? Man, so many people that went before, I already went. I just forgot what the question was. My bad.
Well, I have another question if you'd like to answer.
Okay. All right, let's go.
Okay. So another thing that I was thinking when you were talking is like, so a lot of what we're saying is like, how do we create art and get over the fact of how other people might receive that art, in the sense of like, will they like it? But also, like, as a poet, a lot of my work is confessional. A lot of my work is this is the place where I'm going to say something I never said before. And so what I'm interested in too is, and so I had a meeting with my professor the other day, and he said to me, oh, every time the poem starts to get a little like dramatic, or you start being a little ornamental in your work, he's like, I feel that's exactly where the emotion is supposed to be, and instead you're hiding it. And so I wonder if you experience these things in your creating your art pieces, where you start to get scared of the level of vulnerability that you're bringing out, or how will, not just like will people like it, but will people see the me that I want to be on the canvas?
I mean, I guess that could kind of go a little bit into my artwork. Like, my artwork includes a lot of stuff from my childhood that I
it really, like a lot of my interests and stuff. So like, in my artwork, I include a lot of anime type artwork, but it's like I created or I expanded into more so like fine art. So it's like a mix of that type of artwork. We're trying to make it into more like, more extravagant, more elegant in a different way. Or even like, there are artists that not a lot of people understand. There's a lot of artists back in the day, like say like anime, manga artists who were like really well known back in say like Japan and stuff. So their stuff is a little bit more regarded. I feel like here it's a little less regarded. But for me being vulnerable is just showing that and just, just keep on going with this instead of just thinking that other people would think, say maybe like it's cartoons, maybe it's shy. But for me, it's more so just me showing my childhood and just going back to my roots, going back to the other question you guys talk about roots. Like that's what I kind of like grew up on watching. Like I was every Saturday I was at home watching Cartoon Network, watching Toonami, watching every block they had. I was just like I was supposed to be asleep. I'm up watching, got the door closed, got the volume turned all the way down. That's just how I thought it was. But for me, that's just how I now just use that just to kind of show other people that there's still, even like other people who are from Richmond, because I'm originally from Richmond. Like as a kid, I didn't see doing art as being something that's profitable or even just something that I could do to make any kind of money or living or any type. I still don't make a living off it now. I still make money off of it now. But seeing it as that, still, I have that vision of it now because, artists now they'll show it in the headlines, this artwork. So a lot of times those artists are dead, which is kind of crazy too, but it's just like trying to break through that and coming where I'm from and not seeing that as a possible future is just kind of really, for me, that's just what I kind of do it for the passion for. Thank you.
I'm going to relate this to something that's not quite centered around my art, but I'm currently going through, I was telling some of my friends here on stage that I'm going through a transition right now, whether it's careers or just change, period. And change is extremely scary. It is because there's a level of faith that you have to have in yourself. There's a level of seeing that person in the mirror that you could become. But it's almost like you have to go through whatever that portal is. You don't know what's on the other side. And that can be a very scary place to almost believe in that ability that you will see see it through. Will I survive on the other side of that portal? And I almost see my evolution in art as that same thing. And I've gone through different evolutions. From when I first started sketching to me not touching paint. I used to tell people down, I'm not a paint, I don't like color, I'm a, pencil and pen is me. But the reality is I was scared of color. I was scared because I didn't know how to handle it. And once when I walk through that portal, you see where my art is with these vibrant colors. And I think now it's almost like, okay, what do I really want to say with my art? Where am I right now? And am I ready to cross over? Am I ready to almost transcend? And I think that is a very scary place to be. But you have to trust yourself because I think every artist has been there at some point. And there's nothing but greatness that happens on the other side. But that's kind of what I think of when I think of just change and going there and pushing yourself there and really seeing, that other side of yourself. That's how I feel about pushing myself creatively. And I hope that my next series of works, I see more of who I can become, and I'm brave.
I love that. I just want to say that it's very evident that those themes are present in your artwork, right? Because your art reads very much so as futurism, right? And to be someone who's thinking about the future and use words like transcending and what's next and evolve, I think that's just so much intentionality in that. So I want to applaud you for just sitting in that intentionality.
I like that. Just want to tap in with that. That's a very good question. I think for me, once again, coming from, I'm raw. My story is real simple. I was in the Museum of Fine Arts, Virginia Museum of Fine Arts, walking around enjoying artwork like anybody else. And I got to the door, exited, leaving out, and I said, I wonder if I can paint. I just want to know if I can do it. I just want to know if I can paint. I like it, it's cool, I've never tried it. I left there, went to Michael's, went to Walmart, bought some materials, went home, sat on my living room floor and did like this. I don't know what I'm doing. But the more I did it, the better I liked it. It started becoming very therapeutic, relaxing, all this cool stuff. My first paintings are like stick figures and stuff. I've never put paint on brush. I never did it. And so the more I did it, the better I got at it. And then I found out that the real role of an artist is just to be free and create and learn and grow from there. See what happens. The magic of discovery. You don't know how far you can go until you start taking the journey. Just start walking. Just go. Just try. And don't be your own judge. Just walk. But what happens down there? Go see. Just go try. And so that was the thing that I always like to keep in mind is that try. And for me in my faith, when I get a chance to create something, I get to play God. That's crazy. I get to take nothing and make it something. Call it, speak it. That's crazy to me. I never wanted to be an artist. I just tried and I liked it and got good at it. And every time I have a blank canvas in front of me, man, what's gonna happen? Like my sister said, sometimes it's in your mind, starts in your mind, and sometimes I come up with these titles before, during, or after, but I find it along the way. I find it along the journey of creating and seeing what happens. So we got so much in our heads, I'm sure everybody can test it that we can't get it all out before we leave this earth. But man, we're trying to get it all out and we get to play and see what happens. That's the leave the world empty. We've heard that. And so the first rule of an artist is just create and be free. Don't encapsulate yourself. Don't put the chains, the mental chains on yourself. Because the world's already going to try to do that. You see the stuff that's going on in the world, man. Listen, as an artist, just create and see what happens and enjoy the journey.
It's so fascinating. Another theme that I feel like has persisted through this discussion are themes of spirituality. Not just in the discussion, but in the artwork itself. Themes of religion, right? And on a spectrum, right? That traumatic experiences with religion, beautiful experiences with religion. And when I think about religion, I think about God. When I think about God, I think about the Creator. And there's an artist that I love, an author and artist. Her name is Julia Cameron. She has a great program called The Artist Way. And there's a lot of discussion about the relationship with the Creator and how the Creator is speaking through you. So it's so beautiful that when we talk about having all those ideas, they're there, they exist, they're happening. Because the past, the present, and the future is all happening, right? But once that message comes through to you and it pours through your canvas, onto your canvas, or whatever medium you're working in, I believe it's an intimate relationship with the Creator, and you are able to play God because God is speaking through you.
Just wondered if there's anything that you all would like to share that you didn't get a chance to share, or if there's something you want to say about your piece, or anything else that you'd like to say.
I just want to say thank you all for coming out and appreciating all of our artwork. If you want to see more of my work, you can follow me at Afro_Spectrum on Instagram. I'm also on Facebook and Twitter, and I'm gonna start a YouTube channel too. So look out, I got artwork. I'm also an art director and curator. I'm gonna have some events coming on soon, so tap in with me. And yeah, thanks for coming out.
Hi, thank you all for coming here once again. And you guys can find me on Instagram. My name is Atarah Sheba. That's ATARAHSHEBA. And I am open for commissions. Let's put our minds together.
My name is Larry L. Paz Davis. The L. Paz stands for Live Positive. That's the mindset that I wake up with each and every day. I feel like God has put us all here for a great gift and purpose. And my motto is be a light, not a lampshade. That's based off the scripture, Matthew 5:16, which says, let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. So I paraphrase that by saying, be a light, not a lampshade. The piece that I brought in today on exhibit is right there behind my brother. It's called America on the Backs of the Enslaved. So what I'm saying simply is this. First of all, slavery is not a person, it's a condition that enslaved people are in. And so these were free human beings that were enslaved and taken out of their homelands. And so there are 15 stars over there, represents the 15 states that slavery was legalized, that was legal before the abolishment. Also, Amendment 13 says neither slavery nor involuntary servitude can no longer exist, basically, except you commit a crime. So really, did slavery end with the abolishment in 1865, or did America come up with another way to legalize it, i.e. mass incarceration, the prison system? And so, there are simple, small blue hues in the painting that represents the blue stripes on the canvas there that represents the flag, the blood sacrifice, once again from the bodies being bruised and battered, that's red in the flag as well. But the gold reminding of the history and the heritage of the human beings that were enslaved, the culture, the tribe, the language, the richness and the royalty of being human beings being in the condition of slavery. So that's that piece, America on the Backs of the Enslaved. If you want to follow me or check out what I'm doing, I'm on Instagram as LPOS the Artist. That's LPOS the Artist. I love to connect with you all and grow the community, and I appreciate you all being here tonight. And remember this thing, be a light, not a lampshade.
I don't even have the opportunity to hear the last words from these folks, but I have another engagement to have to run. But if you'd like to follow me, I'm Shane Moran. I'm a poet. My Instagram is Shane Moran Poet.
Thank you so much, Shane.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rudy and Shane, for the opportunity to do this. This is my first time showing my artwork at any type of event ever. So I really appreciate it. Thank you. And it's only the beginning, so I definitely feel the urge to create more, even more so now. So if you'd like to follow me at _ little Latino David on Instagram, at _ little Latino David. I don't have a lot of work on there yet, but you will be seeing a lot more. So it's only a matter of time. So yeah.
Thank you again for creating this a safe space for us to be able to exhibit our feelings. But if you want to follow me, my art page is Wim Sit Cole Arts, play on words, Wim Sit, and my last name Cole, C-O-L-E. And this is my artwork over here on the right side of you all. Just a quick background. I love color. I love using color. Growing up, I was always afraid to use color for specific reasons that I won't get into in this moment. But this series over here, I titled We Bend Color. And I'm going to leave that up to your own interpretation when you take a look at it. Thank you.
At _ little Latino Prince, not David, sorry. At _ little Latino Prince, sorry.
Like everybody else said, thank you, Rudy, for giving us an opportunity to come out, share our work. This was such a surprise. I was at the print fair with the art scene last month, and he just came up and told me this was going on, and I've been looking for ways to get more involved in the city with the art scene, just in general. Going on about 2 years that I've been here, and I'm finally beginning to get outside and share my art with more people. So thank you everybody else as well for asking questions about it, just being curious. My two pieces are the framed works over there on that wall right there. This is a series that's going to eventually be a series of 12. So right now there are just 2, and it's taken me a long time to go from one to the other one. But eventually I hope that will be a large installation that all of you will get to enjoy at some point. It deals with the themes of the New Jerusalem mentioned in the Bible. There are 12 gates that are said to be all around this celestial city that's supposed to be, that the Bible says is coming from heaven and will be established on earth. There's a lot of biblical symbolism in there that, if you have a moment to take a look at it, feel free. I can't wait to share more details about that as the days pass, but in the meantime, if you want to follow me on Instagram, I have a QR code right there, or you can just look up Marcus, M-A-R-C-U-S, the letter C, Thomas, on Instagram. Thank you so much.
Yo, we got a lot of people in this show, yo. Shout out to everybody in here, yo. Y'all in here, yo. Let's go. I want to say I appreciate Rudy, putting me on, let me come through, show off my work. If you're from Richmond, which I am, and I assume a lot of people in here are, like, this to us is kind of like Hollywood in a way on Broad Street, like West Broad Street, because especially me, growing up, I used to walk down these streets, going to all the different places. They used to have like hookah bars and clubs. They had escape, all this other stuff. But it's just like being able to get the experience. Because I've had like exhibitions in like New York and like Soho. Had an exhibition over in California, over in Merced, a couple other different places. But beyond all of that, to me, that means the most has to be being able to display my work here and where I came from, and it's just, yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. To me, it means the most. And to anybody who may like either be an artist, or say if y'all got like kids or something, just got kids who's trying to do art, like always like let them create and always try to encourage them to create more. Because you never know where they're going to end up, or what they're going to end up doing. You talk about nowadays, I said it before, like people like talk about artists making X amount of money, selling for X amount of, like, let them even just, especially make sure that they are passionate about it and it's something that they want to do, and it's artwork that they want to create, or even just beyond just artwork. Art could be considered like music, or I don't know, acting, anything like that. Just encourage them to keep on doing that and wanting to be passionate about the things that they do. Oh, my bad, I forgot to say my Instagram. My Instagram is art that lacks form. Yeah, Instagram. I don't really be on a lot of social media and stuff, but art that lacks form.
Just one more thing really quickly. I just wanted to piggyback off of what you said. Yeah, when it comes to creating art, whether it's something that you or someone else wants to do professionally or just for the sake of creating it, for your own pleasure, and I'm sure all of us up here would 100% back you in doing something like that. Creating is such a deeply human thing to do, and when it comes to children, like, you don't have to coerce them or tell them to create. Like, they see the tools in front of them and they just go. No one has to, convince them that they need to create. It's just something that we do as people, as humans. So I just want to, if you're one of those people in the audience who maybe is like, man, as I kept growing up, and my own expectations and the things I saw around the world and all the ways that I had to grow up, like, they just kept pounding away at my creativity. You feel like you don't have anything left, or you just want to give up. I say you're just one pencil stroke, brush stroke away from falling back in love, and it's something that is so incredibly human and wonderful. And so I hope that you leave here inspired in some way, whether that's visual art or if you do music, dance, whatever it could be, to continue creating, because we like all we have is art, at the end of it. So, thank you.
Well, can we please give a very loud It takes a lot of chutzpah to present in front of people, and not only present your work, but to talk about your work in front of people. So I applaud you all for that, and your varying degrees of experience, right? Also, representation is so important to me, and I like to call out the big elephant in the room. We have one woman sitting here amongst men. I do want to note that there was one other woman in this show. Her name is Nia Williams. She's one that wasn't able to be here with us today, but can we please give her a round of applause? And her installation piece is right back there. It's the woman, Nia, tells a lot of stories about familial experiences through her own lens, through her friend's lens. She lost a friend to femicide several years ago at the hands of her husband, her children's father, and she creates from a place of that trauma, right? But also a healing place because of what she went through there. So if we could just clap it up for Nia Williams as well. And I also want you all to clap it up for yourselves, right? Because we're at a really interesting place where it's becoming increasingly difficult for local and regional artists to find the support, especially visual artists, because they're competing with things like AI and competing with like Canva, where someone can go online and just create the piece of art that they want in their home and print it out and put it in a really nice frame, and then it has the aesthetic that they want. But I really urge every person in here to buy art from artists and the artists in your city. That art could be expensive, right? Yes, but artists do take commissions, right? And so just talk to an artist, tell them what you want, what you're looking for, and also find interest in purchasing the art that they've created if it resonates with you, right? Let's clap it up for these artists once again, please. We got DJ Sway who's gonna spin for us a little bit, like some house vibes, so please stick around. We got the bar, if you wanna hang out, please talk to the artists as well. Purchase some art from them, right? Or exchange information. Thanks again, everybody.
So we're gonna take a picture. We're gonna be